Hey everybody, Brett from AstartesGaming here, back with another first look video, slash, this might be a part one, we'll see. But today we're going to be checking out Exanima, which is an interesting little game. It's been in early access for a while now, and if you've been following it on Steam, you'll notice that it's been getting pummeled with bad reviews lately. And that's because the game, the developers had taken a little bit of a break from updating the game so that they could work on one big update before the full release. And so the game is still actively being updated. In fact, the newest update should be coming out probably not too long after this video is made. I've had the game for a little while. I've been following it for a little while, and it's an interesting project. It is, well, there's essentially two different game modes. There is sort of like a dungeon crawling game mode, where the game plays a little bit more like, you know, an RPG. You're kind of wandering around in a dungeon, and, you know, you pick up loot as you go, and you have to find keys to open doors. Kind of what you'd expect from a dungeon crawler, although you are doing it with the combat system that this game is, you know, known for. The other one is sort of like a gladiator management type thing. That's what the arena is here. And that one is a little bit more, what's the word? Straightforward, I guess. You're basically just managing a couple of fighters, you know, getting them gear, running them through different types of battles. You earn money, you spend that money on gear, and then you go back to fighting. So if you're more interested in just fighting, that's a great way to go, but if you want a little bit more context to your fighting, well then you have the dungeon crawler mode as well. Today I think we're going to check out a little bit of the arena, because we'll see a lot more combat in that than we will in the dungeon crawler mode. And that's really the star of the show here, is the combat. Now I will say that the controls are rough. I have some experience with the game, so I vaguely know what I'm doing, but I'm not great by any means, and if you pick up this game, just know that the first couple hours are going to be absolute hell, and I'll explain more about that when we get in there. But it is worth giving it the time, because it is very rewarding once you figure it out, although it will take time and effort to figure it out. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump into the arena mode. Now, if we end up doing a let's play of this game, I will probably do just the arena, unless you guys want to see the dungeon crawler one. But the arena tends to kind of get to the point faster. You're doing a lot of combat, whereas in the dungeon crawling thing, you actually probably want to avoid combat, because it kind of starts you off with basically nothing, and so it's very likely that you'll get killed if you engage early on. So anyways, arena mode. Let's continue from where I've left off. I'm still very early in this arena campaign. This is my character here, Brett. He's like level 2, so you kind of do level up. I've got one full perk in close combat. This basically lets him swing and then swing in the opposite direction with a follow-up. By default, characters can't do that. And then I'm working on deflection so that he actively protects himself a little bit better. Now, there are other characters. I'll get more into that in just a second, whenever this loads. Load times aren't too bad in this game. Okay, so the first thing you're going to have to do or deal with is navigation. Now, there's two different ways to navigate. You can see his stance change there and the cursor go red. This is just sort of your regular moving around mode. There's two ways to do it. You can right-click on a location, and he'll move in that general direction. The further you move the cursor from the character, the faster they will move. So he'll sprint if I hold it to the edge of the thing there, and he'll knock over all these chairs. Alternatively, you can use WSD to move. Now, this is where things get weird. And when you're in combat, this is really the only way to move yourself. So let's go into combat mode. The WASD keys move him relative to the cursor. And this is probably the biggest adjustment you'll have to make in playing this. It doesn't work like a twin stick shooter where left is always left, up is always up, down is always down. You know, so right now with the cursor up, W and S will move him up and down just like you would expect. But if I put the cursor over there, now they're going to move him left and right. So basically W will always move him toward the cursor, and S will always move him away. A will move him like he'll strafe left relative to the cursor, and then D will cause him to strafe right relative to the cursor. Now, when you're in combat, I recommend keeping the cursor on whoever you're trying to fight, and that will kind of help your brain figure out what direction you want to move, because the game doesn't lock on. There's no lock on mode. So by doing that, by keeping your cursor around your target, it sort of functions in a similar manner. By the way, to interact with stuff, you literally just click on it and drag it, so you can open doors and stuff. Everything is rendered real-time in physics, so like, you know, if you run into stuff like those chairs, you can see them kind of smacking around. So this is sort of the hub for the arena mode. This is the vendor right here. You can click on him. He's got a very limited inventory, and things are very expensive. So for example, if I wanted this greatsword, it's going to be 4 gold and 5 silver. I only have 3 silver, and I assume those are like coppers to my name. Not a lot. I actually do have more equipment than it's showing on him, though. For whatever reason, it just doesn't show it here. But if we click on this board over here, we can see our fighters. I've got 3 right now, and there's 2 different types of fighters. So there is the hirelings, if we go into the hire option here. These guys can't actually be controlled by the player, but they can assist the player in like team battles, essentially. So there's a couple available. They seem to be randomized because this list was different last time I checked it. There'll be an assortment of people that are, you know, very well equipped, and then some people, let's see, like this guy, that are very poorly equipped. And you can see that changes their fee by quite a bit. So these guys will go with you on various you know, team battles. The alternative to that is the recruits, and that's what these 2 are, Catherine and Anton. The recruits are the actual playable characters. They start at level 0. You have to level them up and get them gear, but you can actually control them. But you can only send one of these guys out per arena fight. So whoever you're going to be controlling is essentially, you know, whoever is in your recruit roster. And these guys work just like the regular character creation. So you have all the options. You can do male or female. You can change the physique. I think it's like muscle there or something, and then like fat here. I don't know. But you do all sorts of body types. And you'll see all sorts of different body types when you are playing against the enemies. And of course you have height, and then age, skin tone, very dark to very pale, reddish, yellowish, whatever color you want. And you can change the voices. I usually don't bother. I very rarely even play the game with headphones, but I mean, if you want to do that, you can tweak it, and you can even adjust the pitch. So if you like one voice more than another, but you want it higher or lower, there you go. And then you can't actually change the face. All you can do is give him stubble or not give him stubble. You can obviously change the hairstyles, and this is kind of a cool option. So you can decide if you want straight or wavy hair, and it actually does change the appearance of the hair a little bit. So that's kind of a cool thing, just to add a little bit more diversity to the limited hair choices. Now, when the game gets updated, I imagine there will be more options to tweak here, but honestly, you're not going to be seeing a lot of your character's face. Well, at least mid to late game you won't be, because they'll be wearing helmets and stuff like that. But early on, you'll probably be seeing a lot of it because they're not going to be wearing any headgear. But anyways, we don't need another one right now, and they do cost silver, so I can't really afford to. But yeah, those are the player characters. You can customize them and whatnot, and then level them up. Okay. So now that you know how the game works, let's run on over to the other board here. If you press spacebar, it will center the camera behind the character. Very, very helpful, because you know, moving with the WASD stuff is a lot easier when it's lined up the way you're used to. So this is where we choose matches that we want to do. There are a couple different ones. Fray is essentially a free-for-all. There's 6 characters, one of which is you, and whoever is left standing at the end wins. Pretty straightforward. I don't know what Challenger is. I haven't done one yet because it's very expensive to enter. It might level us up to the next rank or something. I'm not too sure. Skirmish is a 3-on-3 battle. I haven't done any of those yet because actually I think it can be various sizes, but it's teams essentially, and they again require the hirelings. So for example, if I wanted to do one of these, it won't even let me because I don't think I have, well yeah, I don't have any aspirants, and then I don't have enough people to send in there. But if I could, if Brett were there and I tried to move like Catherine in, she would just replace him. So only hirelings can be added with the playable characters. Pugilism is exactly what you'd expect. It's like a boxing match in a very big open room, so there's no weapons. You just trade punches until somebody goes down. Duel is a one-on-one fight with whatever weapons and armor you have equipped. We already talked about Fray. I don't know what the beast is. I haven't been able to try that. Elimination is like a ladder thing, so I think you have to beat like 6 characters in a row to win. I have a bit of a bone to pick with this one because it's not very fair in the way that it's implemented. Your characters will incur damage throughout the fights, and that damage will carry over to the next fight. You do get healed up to an extent, but the way it works, and we'll get more into this in a second, obviously when we're fighting, but the red damage is permanent damage. It does heal when they're not in fights, but between the elimination fights, that damage stays there. So if, say, the yellow bar gets knocked down but it doesn't get replaced by red, that will heal up over time. But the red, as it accumulates, means that that health can't be gained back until they sit out and rest for a little while. So your character will accrue more and more of that red damage over those fights, but the enemies always start completely fresh. And so it makes these very difficult to win without being just completely overgeared for them. Anyways, let's jump into one. We'll do a Fray match because that's really all I can do right now, although I am curious about this. I'm going to send in Anton because I need to level him up a little bit. Brett is my best character and the most well-equipped. Catherine is probably second, but she's a bit beat up now. She's my Fray expert normally. She wins a lot of these, but we'll give Anton a crack at it. And yeah, let's get in. Okay, so here we go. Just a little tip for this battle. You can literally just sit back and watch the enemy fight it out until there's like 1 or 2 left. They'll ignore you as long as you don't take any swipes at them. But while we're just sitting here and watching, I'm going to kind of show you guys how the combat works. So, as I said before, you move relative to the cursors. So, they'll turn to face whichever way the cursor is. And, again, you're going to move. Anytime you press D, it's always going to be to his right, not your right. And that takes a lot of getting used to. It's a lot harder than it sounds. Now, my biggest gripe with this system is I feel like that is completely unnecessary. There's no reason why A couldn't always move you to your left and, D couldn't move you to your right. Especially given that the attacks are governed by the mouse cursor as well. So for example, if you want to swipe, you click here and drag around. And then if you do it in the opposite direction, you'll swipe the other direction. So as you can imagine, when I'm trying to move toward a target, but also trying to swipe in an arc, my mouse can't be in 2 places at once. And so the control scheme is always fighting itself in that regard. And it becomes very frustrating. Now there are people, if you watch YouTubers that play this game a lot, that are very good at it. But this system could be so much better if it were just a little bit more accessible. And there's really no reason why it shouldn't be. Because as far as the actual fighting goes, let's see, are you going to engage me? Okay. She's going to go after me. So, a little bit short there. At least early on, I almost ate that hammer. What you want to do is just kind of wait and counterattack. they will automatically block, but if you leave yourself open, obviously the game isn't going to block that for you. So, oh, gave her a little love tap there. Looks like it's down to just us three. Will they fight each other? I don't know. Okay, let's back out. But yeah, counterattacks probably work the best. Oh, she's down. If you hold Alt and drag back and then forward, you can do a thrust attack. Otherwise, you can, you know, swipe at them like so. Oh, right across the face. Let's back off. And, oh. With the thrust, you kind of need to move your character forward. Otherwise, you'll come up short, even with the longest pole arms. So, yeah, you kind of want to step back and then move forward like so. Oh, it was a little bit out of range there. Oh, right across the face. There's a lot of, like, bumping into each other. And if you're using a shield, that's actually a very effective tactic, is to move in close and tie up the enemy. There we go. Tap her down. So, he didn't take any damage there. As you can see, waiting the battle out is very effective. Now, before we go back to the menu, we can press tab here and go back into just like regular walk around mode. And if you walk up to a character, you can double click on them to see their inventory. If you press I, you can see your own inventory. Now, in arena mode, loot doesn't carry over, so I can loot her right now and throw this stuff on. And the armor does layer, sort of like if you're familiar with Kingdom Come Deliverance. There's different types of damage and different resistances to said damage. So this cloth tunic that I'm wearing on top of my other tunic just gives us a little bit of resistance to slash. These boots give us a little bit of impact, slash, crush, and a little bit of everything. A little bit of resistance to everything. But because we're playing arena mode, anything I take right now will not remain mine. But if you are in a fray battle, like this for example, and you're not happy with your weapon choice, you can wait for somebody to go down and maybe snag their weapon and, you know, go ahead and we'll move to our secondary, and you can throw it on your character and fight with their weapon. You won't get to keep it afterward, but you can use it during. And, you know, obviously down the line you want your characters to have different loadouts for different enemy types, but for right now, all I've got are these quarterstaffs, so that's what we got to make do with. Okay, back we are here. Let's go to the shop real quick and see if anything changed. I haven't figured out the pattern to how his inventory shifts. It looks like it's still identical to before. I have 4 silver and 8 copper now. Is that enough for any armor? No, that needs gold. How about this gambeson? Ooh, nope. Chainmail? No, not gonna happen. What about a better shield, or a shield? I actually don't have any. How about this belt? 6 coppers. I wouldn't mind a belt. What does that do for us? It gives us a little bit of protection against impact, slash, and pierce. For 6 coppers, that's actually not bad. I'm gonna go ahead and buy that. Sure. And then it doesn't automatically equip on him. You have to come over here, click on this, and then we go to manage, and that'll bring up the inventory screen of whichever character you selected. Then we'll go on over to here. I didn't check. Okay, good. Some items are locked to different ranks. So for example, this waistcoat I bought needs or requires that you be an aspirant level character before you can equip it. It looks identical to this thing right here that he's wearing, but it's brown instead of like this kind of like maroon color. But yeah, I didn't realize that when I grabbed it. I think it's better than what he's wearing now, but I intended it for a different character. Unfortunately, none of them are aspirant rank yet, so they can't use it. I think the same is true of these. Novice. Oh, so I need to be a couple ranks higher to use those. But anyways, so that's how inventory and stuff works in here. And you could see there, I can toggle between the different characters and give them stuff, but I don't really have anything to give them. So, we've got a skirmish and pugilism. I can't do this right now. I don't have any characters to send. Or I don't have enough characters to send. And this, I don't like these, like barehanded brawl fights. They're just not that interesting to me, and they don't pay out very well. I'll let Anton take a crack at this as well, just because he's still got plenty of health. And it's one of the only ways to get new jobs available is to just do one of them. I don't know if there's a way to like reshuffle if you don't see anything you want to do. Okay, so you can see we've taken a bit of damage. Some of that bar is grayed out, but there's no red. So that means that he hasn't taken any permanent damage that requires time to heal. Boxing is really, really rough in this game, by the way. My opinion is that the best way to go about it is to use the equivalent of the thrust attack. So when you hold Alt and go right at them with the kind of back and forth drag, that seems to be the most effective way. And there you see he's down. So when we go back to the barracks or whatever, you'll see that his health will be full because he didn't take any red damage. So between fights, this just grayed out bar will recover in full. But if there's any red damage, I think it knocks off a little bit, but that does carry over. So again, the only way to get rid of that is to just let them rest for a little bit, like we were doing with Catherine. So realistically, he'll be ready to just jump right into another mission if we wanted to. I'm going to check this one more time. I don't think anything has changed, but it's worth peeking because we do have a little bit of silver accumulated. There's some really cool helmets here, but I can't afford any of them. I need gold, and I have none. You can preview stuff by dragging it over to the character there. I like this one. There's some really cool helmets. The game has an interesting variety of armor. It's all medieval, but it covers a pretty wide range of medieval stuff. There's some like late Gothic armor, but then there's some like earlier plate. And I mean, it's probably all mostly late medieval stuff, but there does seem to be a pretty good variety. So let's see. We have a fray and a duel. I don't know that we'll get to do both, unfortunately. Let's just do a duel. I'll let Brett go on this one, because he's got our best gear, so he's got the best chance of winning. But hopefully the fray sticks around, because those are usually pretty easy wins as long as you don't, you know, get too excited and jump in before it's time. For your main character, for whatever reason, you have to hit enter twice, because if this character dies, that's game over, permadeath. So I think there's supposed to be like a notification, but I told it not to trigger. So anybody else, you only hit enter once, but for whatever reason, when I select him, I have to hit it twice. Okay. Oh no, he does not have a weapon, even though I have equipped that stupid polearm on him at least twice now. Okay, well, he is completely unarmed. This is going to be interesting. And for whatever reason, he decided to get out of combat stance there. Why are you flipping around like a madman? Here we go. Alright, well, hopefully I can outbox this guy with a cleaver. He's being pretty aggressive, too. Come on, come at me. Oh, this is... I don't know what's wrong with that weapon, but I've literally had this issue twice now. And I went out of my way... Oh, crap. He hacked me pretty good there. I went out of my way to make sure that it was equipped, and yet here we are. Maybe that one weapon is bugged or something, but I've used it in other fights. Like in practice fights and stuff, so... Crap. Why is my arm stuck behind my back? Oh god. Did he like hack my arm up, or what's the deal with that? Maybe he did. My arms seem to be just kind of flailing ineffectually. Oh, no. There we go. Oh man, he clipped me good. I'm probably going to lose this. Oh no, we won. Somehow we won with our bare hands. Okay. Well, we took a lot of red damage there. And he's going to be out for a while after that. No idea why his polearm is not working though. It's funny because he's actually got it equipped right here. You can see he's carrying it as his primary weapon. And if I go over here, manage his inventory, he's got it equipped there as well. Well, it's in his other items. Maybe that's why. Here, let's try this. If I put it there, then give it to him. Ah, there it is. Okay, so he can't use that. The cudgel is really slow. I'm worried it's not going to serve him very well, but that's all I've got, so there it is. But yeah, that makes sense now that I think about it. Okay. Well, at least we won. Anything new? No. I wish the inventory would just reset if it's going to be the same crap that I can't afford. I would really like this greatsword as well, but that's way out of our budget. The greatswords are actually really good weapons in this. I find them to be the easiest to use because they have a good balance of reach and speed. They also are a little bit easier to make contact with than like pole arms, for example. Most of the pole arms, the tip is the only deadly part. So the slashes need to land sort of on the tip of the weapon to be effective. But with the greatsword, anywhere you land the blade will do damage. Obviously, if you get them with the arc of the swing, it'll do a little bit more damage. But yeah, it's just easier to hit stuff with them, and then you can still thrust it almost the same reach, so they're pretty effective. I really wish you could use that weapon and you didn't take so much damage, because I would love for you to win this elimination, but I think we're going to let Catherine have a go. I don't think she's going to win this. I don't know that I've won an elimination yet in this campaign, but we'll give it a try. And then if we get another challenger match at the inept tier and he's healed up by them, we'll let him have a go. Okay. So basically we've just got like 6 one-on-one duels. It looks like she already clipped me a little bit, or maybe that was already there. She's got a slightly deadlier weapon. On this particular map, stay away from the rocks. They will trip you, like literally. Your character can fall down. Oh, she got me good there. That was a good counter. I'm trying to get around her guard, but it's kind of difficult. I should have countered there. I don't know that she can do the follow-up swings. She might be the only one that can't. I'm having a hard time doing it, so it's possible she doesn't have that ability yet. I don't remember what I gave her. Ah, jeez. I don't know that we have any chance here. We took way too much damage already, and we still have several more opponents to fight. Almost got her with the back swing there. Like, we'll probably win this, but whether or not we'll be able to win the following battles afterward is probably a different story. Okay, falling back. Oh, getting caught up there. Let's just back off. Okay, she can double attack. I'm just not doing it very effectively for some reason. Okay, back up, back up. Damn. She keeps landing in like weird areas, making it really hard for me to counterattack effectively. I can't tell if I'm even doing any damage. Oh, don't let her get behind you. Yeah, see, I backed into the rocks there. Oh, we're gonna... Oh, you kind of spun out of the way. I was gonna say, we're gonna eat an unblockable hit right there, but nope, she managed to dodge it somehow. I don't even think that was intentional. It certainly wasn't intentional by me. I had no control over it. There we go. Alright. So, in these eliminations, you can actually borrow gear between fights, so like we can use her belt. Is this better than what I have? Oh, that's an undershirt. Okay, I don't want that. What is this? Let's see. Like 0.5 slash versus 0.5 slash. Okay, just keep what you got then. 0.5. Those are actually better. Okay. Cool. And if we wanted to, we could switch to her secondary and equip this. This has at least a little bit of a blade on it, whereas her quarterstaff has nothing, so we'll be able to do a little bit more damage with this. Unfortunately, all that red damage buildup is going to make this really hard to progress any further. Let's... Ooh, clipped you in the cheek with that. But yeah, let's try to keep away from the rocks there. I'm going to maneuver back to the center. I actually really like this hooked weapon. I've found that you can kind of, if you tie up people and then swing around, you can get them like that. And it does do pretty good damage when it connects. By the way, the hitboxes on these characters are actually surprisingly accurate. I've caught people's arms with weapons like this and like taken the weapon right out of their hand and defeated them like that. So that I was pretty impressed when it happened, because generally with games like this they just kind of like get, you know, glitchy and tied up. Uh-oh. I don't know if that did any damage. Sometimes you'll connect like that, but it won't register damage because the weapon wasn't moving fast enough. God. Okay. There we go. Took way too much damage there. Did she have anything worthwhile? Those boots are an upgrade. Yeah. And I mean, if we want to use this later, we could consider it, but I don't think we're going to make it too much further into this. Okay, I'll try to keep my distance here. Didn't do so well on that in that last fight. It's kind of difficult because you have to close in to ensure that you can actually land a hit. If you stay too far back, you can't really reach them unless you're doing like a thrust. And even the thrust, it's kind of difficult to connect with unless they come to you like she did right there. There we go. That went way better. Okay, let's see. Does she have anything good? Are those better than these? A little bit. They just have a little bit of crush protection, but honestly, that makes no difference. So nobody's gonna hit you in the ankles with a hammer. If they do, 0.5 isn't gonna really do much for you. So moving on. Let's see. Oh, another short weapon. That's really my only saving grace in these fights, is that they are badly outranged by my weapon. If they'd... Oh, God, he caught me in the face with that. The backswing, too. But yeah, if they'd have pole arms... Jesus. I'm not doing very well here. But if they'd had pole arms, I would have virtually no chance. Especially with how much damage we took in that first fight. Again, against a polearm, the polearm we're using, so it just shows you the reach really does play a factor. Oh, did I get him with the backswing there? It's hard to tell. Oh, that was my blood. Pretty sure. Let's try to dance out of the way. They do a good job when they're outranged of kind of being aggressive and going after you. You can see him constantly pursuing me to try to close the gap. There we go. Got around him there. Oh, moved in close. Sometimes that's the best thing to do is, ooh, I'm surprised I didn't take damage there. If you see a hit coming, especially from a longer weapon, if you move in... Oh, how did he get me there? I thought I got him. But yeah, if you see a hit coming, sometimes meeting it halfway is the best thing that you can do, because you'll avoid the pointy end of the weapon. Especially if it's something like this, you get hit with the pole, it's obviously a lot less deadly than the hook at the end. Whew. Okay, did you have anything? Ooh, he had a jacket. It's pretty, looking pretty slick on her. How about a belt too? That'll give her a bit of armor. And those are the same boots we saw before. Wow, everything he had was like color coordinated. That's pretty impressive for a pit fighter. Anyway, I don't know how many fights we have left, but obviously like one good hit is enough to drop us. We'll see what we can do though. Oh, another short weapon at least. Nope, nope. Oh God, I couldn't get out of the way in time. Oh no, did she die? Did she actually die? There is permadeath, so she might be done. I think she is actually, because her bar is full red. Yeah, I think Catherine just died for good. Oh no. Oh man. Let's see. Did we lose a character? We did, so it's just Brett and Anton now. So, I think we're going to go ahead and end it here. If you guys would like to see more of this, I'd be happy to play more. I've been playing it a little bit in my own time, just in anticipation of the update that's coming. They're apparently adding quite a bit of content. I think they are trying to get the game ready for a 1.0 release, if not making this the 1.0 release. So I'm really looking forward to that. If you guys, again, would like to see more, let me know. And we can do whichever you prefer. I'm leaning more toward the arena myself because I think that is going to make for more interesting videos. But if you would like to see the dungeon crawling part of the game, we can certainly do that too. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I had a great time playing some Exanima with you, and I look forward to seeing you guys back here for my next first look video.